Hi. Hi. We are going to start out today laying down on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the mat. Leave a little bit of space between your legs just to be most comfortable at your hips. So we're going to do our warm-up breathing down here, but before we get into focused breath, let's just do a quick body scan to sense what neutral feels like laying on your back. Start with your attention down at your feet, and I want you to let your feet rock towards the outer edge and then the inner edge, which will actually be letting your legs split apart and then come together. I don't know if you can see this from the side view, but I am actually knocking my knees together when I roll the weight in. Okay, so that just gives you a sense of just where the edge of your foot is. Now, if you go back to your parallel alignment with your legs, I want you to keep the space between your knees, but give a little pressure on the inside edge of your foot at the big toe, the ball of the foot, and the inside half of your heel. And if you give a little pressure down into the mat there, you might notice a gentle sensation in your inner thigh. So that's a good awareness point. Now, I want you to center your pelvis, and this time you're going to rock it around a little bit, but instead of left to right, I want you to tilt it forward and back. And just feel the effect of rocking your pelvis. So I just feel like I'm turning a radio dial back and forth. As I tilt one way, my pubic bone goes up, and that makes my low back get flatter. And then when my pubic bone falls down, it brings a little arch into my low back. Now we want to settle into a position where your pubic bone and the two hip bones are all level with each other. So you can make a triangle with your hands and just place it on top of your pelvis. Do a couple more rocks and just feel, as you gradually make it smaller, where's the position that those three spots are level, where you can just place a glass of water right in the middle of your pelvis. I said that's so thrilling. All right, when you get there, there should be a little curve present underneath your low back. And then as you keep scanning up your body, all of the back of your rib cage should have good contact with the mat. The curve of your neck is forward, just like your low back, so that's not touching the mat. And then the back of your skull has a nice weight into the mat. So these three big bony landmarks are how we represent a neutral spine when you're laying on your back. And now let's go into the focused breath. Bring your hands onto your lower ribs and let your fingertips just overlap a little bit so it looks like a closed zipper. When you breathe in, take the inhale through your nose, and as the rib cage expands, you may notice your hands spreading apart a little bit, like the zipper is opening up. And then exhale through your mouth like you blow out a candle. As you blow the air out, the ribs hug together, bringing your hands together to close that zipper. As you inhale, sense the breath, expand the whole rib cage. So you'll feel movement in the back and out to the sides. And then exhale. I'm going to do it loud. So I've got this steady, smooth force of breath. One more time to sense that. Nice big breath in, feeling that expansive quality. The whole chest cavity gets bigger. And then a nice thorough exhale. Be patient with the breath so you can sense how the abdominals contract to help pull the rib cage together again. Now let's bring your arms down by your sides, and we're going to go into the hip rolls. So one more time, take a breath in just so we have some air to work with. When you exhale, begin to curl the pelvis and lift your tailbone off the mat. Keep lifting up one vertebra at a time until we get to the base of your shoulder blades. Hold at the top, take an inhale to stay there. When you exhale, roll back down, working through each rib. Now the bones of the low back one at a time. Land your pelvis and then let it unrock back to neutral where your pubic bone was level with your hips. And again, exhale, curl your hips off the mat. Put the weight into the big toes, and it'll feel like your knees are reaching away from your shoulders as you lift up. Hold at the top, take an inhale to stay, and then exhale as you roll back down. Keep drawing your hips towards your heels as you release. Inhale back to neutral 2 more times. Exhale as you curl off. I'm going to give a little pressure into my arms to help me stabilize. A little pressure into the big toes so I can stimulate the inner thighs. Hold at the top, take your inhale breath, and then roll back down. Now as I'm coming down, I'm tilting the pelvis. So I've got the pubic bone tipped up as long as I can, and then unrock to finish it. One more time. Exhale, curl your hips off. The lifting action should feel like it's coming from the back of the legs, your hamstrings as well as your glutes. Hold there, take another breath in, and then roll back down one bone at a time. And rock yourself back to neutral again. Okay. I'm going to have you bring your hands onto your hip bones. If you follow the crest of your hip, I want you to right to the spot where that drops off. There's like a little bony knob on both sides. We're going to use that as a reference point in the next exercise. Your goal is to keep your pelvis still. So this is where you can sense if you're rocking side to side or forward backwards. And we're going to isolate movement of one leg at a time. This exercise is called the hip release. When you breathe in, allow one knee to fall out to the side while you're straightening the leg. And we're just going to slide the foot right down the mat. Now you're going to turn your leg in as you exhale and bend your knee to pull back up. And again, drop your knee out to the side, glide the foot down the length of the mat, and then rotate your leg in and pull back up. As your knee falls out, keep your opposite hip heavy to resist the weight of the leg sliding away. Turn it in, bring it back up to the ceiling. One more time, drop your knee out, glide the foot down, rotate the leg in, and pull it back up. Let's try your other leg. Okay, so now attention on this hip. Inhale, you're going to drop that opposite knee out to the side, glide your foot down the length of the mat. Exhale to rotate your leg in and pull back up. As you inhale, sense the breath going into your back, glide the foot down the mat. Exhale, compress your abs and pull the leg back in. 2 more times. Drop your knee out, glide the leg away from you. Roll it in, pull back up. And one more time. Inhale, release out, glide it away. And then rotate it in and pull back up to the ceiling. I'm going to have you turn onto your side. When you get there, you're going to put your bottom arm under your head, resting it on your forearm. And I want you to tuck both knees into tabletop position. If this is uncomfortable, you're going to grab a pillow to put under your head, and then the bottom arm can go out like that. All right. You're going to take your top arm straight out at chest height as well. When you breathe in, lift your top arm so it's right above your shoulder. On your exhale, rotate your upper body, reaching your arm towards the wall behind you. Stay here, take a breath in, and allow the air to expand the chest, and then hold for another exhale, relaxing a little deeper into the stretch, but keep squeezing those inner thighs. Now take another breath in to stay here. When you exhale, lift your arm up to the ceiling and over to close. And again, inhale, top arm reaches up. Now rotate towards the back. And as you exhale, you want to compress the abs so it feels like you're squeezing and rotating to wring yourself out. Now breathe in, feel the rib cage expanding with all that air. And then stay for another exhale. Wring yourself out a little more. Is there any more twist available? Take one more breath in. And then draw a nice big arc up to the ceiling and over to close. Just one more time. Inhale as your top arm lifts up. And then exhale as you rotate towards the back, looking towards your fingertips. Hold here. Take a big breath in. Now stay for that second exhale. Keep squeezing the knees together to resist your twist. Take one more breath in to hold. And then exhale back up and over to close. Let's flip you to the other side. All right. Try to get your knees bent at about a 90-degree angle and your hip joint at 90 degrees as well. And then support your head on your arm. All right. Top arm is reaching out. Back's nice and straight. Now you're going to inhale as you take your top arm up. On your exhale, rotate towards the back. And I want you to look towards your hand. Hold here. Take your inhale breath. Feel that air climb up your body so it even expands your chest. And hold for another exhale, compressing the abs and wringing yourself out. Take another breath in to stay, and then exhale to lift your arm and close back over. And again, inhale, top arm lifts up, and then exhale as you twist towards the back. Breathe in, and then stay for another exhale. See if you can use your breath to release tension in your chest. Do one more breath in. Now reach that arm out and up to draw a big rainbow over to close. One more time. Inhale, top arm lifts, and exhale, twist back. Hold here, take your breath in, And then stay for another exhale, sinking a little deeper into it. Take one more breath in to stay, and then exhale as you lift your arm and close back over again. All right, I want you to kneel on your hands and your knees next. Leave a little bit of space between your legs so your knees are right under your hip joints. And I want you to set your hands with your fingertips spread nice and wide. And this is just good to help us maintain flexibility at our wrists and extension, which I think for a lot of us, if we type, a lot at work, this is always something we want to stay mindful of, having that range of motion. Okay, so just a little bit, fuss around with your body weight till you feel like you're evenly loaded between your arms and your legs. I'm going to have you start out with a very small motion where we're isolating your shoulder blades, coming closer together and farther apart, retracting and protracting. As you breathe in, draw your shoulder blades towards each other, and that force will cause your chest to sink a little bit. When you exhale, push yourself away from the floor and feel your shoulder blades spread apart slightly. When you draw them together, maybe we get an inch of motion at the most, and then exhale, spread it apart. Inhale as the shoulder blades come into the spine, and exhale away. We're going to do that 3 more times, and even though it's small, I want you sensing this as fluid. Imagine you're well lubricated between these bones, and the shoulder blades just slide and glide on the ribs. 1 more time, drawing together and spreading apart, and just freeze. Okay, so I want you to sense the pushing away motion you just did activates your arms, activates the muscles in your shoulder blades, but you also probably get a very slight response in the abdominal wall because it's a full body push away from the floor. Now we're going to take all of that connection, bring it into a cat stretch. I want you to take 1 more breath in before you move. When you exhale, start to tuck your tailbone under, round your mid back up to the ceiling using the spreading apart of your shoulder blades, and then hang your head down to look at your knees. Stay there. As you inhale, try to put the breath into the back of the body. When you exhale, you're going to stick out your tailbone, start to flatten your spine, then lift your chest and chin to come into a slight extension. And here, your shoulder blades should be closer together. Breathe in and stay. And then exhale, tuck your tailbone under, start to round the spine. Compress the abs, spread the shoulder blades apart, look down at the thighs. As you hold for your inhale, can you make more energy drawing your head and your tail together? Then when you exhale, start to stick your tailbone out. Feel your sit bones get wider as they tip up. Open the chest and then lift the chest and chin to extension. Inhale here. Exhale, tuck your tail under. That's going to be some work in your glutes as well as your abs. Spread the blades apart, look down at your legs. Hold there, take another breath in, and then exhale back out. Stick out your tailbone, flatten through a neutral spine, and then lift your chest and chin. All right, come back to your neutral again. Now I want you to just visualize your back like a table, but energetically stay in that push away feeling. Okay, so you're active in your arms, active in your legs, support from your abs. We're going to alternate lifting up opposite arm and leg. Sometimes we call this kneeling swimming. Sometimes it's called bird dog. Take a breath in before you start. When you exhale, start to compress your abs so we feel that connection, and then reach your arm and your leg away from each other. And then inhale as you come back down. Start your exhale, feel the support in the middle of the body, then finish the exhale as you reach away. Inhale as you lower back down. Exhale as you reach out. And inhale to return. And exhale away. Inhale back down. We're going to do that 2 more times. Exhale. 2 more times, but then I'm going to say something. There will be more reps than 2. And exhale out and lower. Okay. The way we just did that, I was trying to give you a breath pattern that was speaking to the compression of your abs, kind of holding you together from here. Sometimes that makes people a little more wobbly. So we have to figure out for you which is the best way to breathe. So let's try another set where we do it with the opposite breath. I want you to take an exhale and just connect with your abs before we do anything else. Get that sense of support. Then, as you inhale, reach your arm and leg away from each other again. exhale to come back down, still focusing on resetting the support. Inhale, reach away, trying to touch the opposite walls. And then exhale as you come back down. Inhale as you reach out. And lower, keep going. So hopefully you're sensing, you could do it either way, but usually people kind of resonate with one version of the other or the other. They can sense a little more wobbling at the hip and shoulder with one of those patterns. So while there's no global right or wrong answer, there's most likely a personal answer. Reach and down. Let's do one more time. Reach out and then back down. All right, one more thing while we're kneeling. I want you to sit back about halfway towards your heel. You're going to take one arm, reach it under the other, so we go into a rotation, and then come back to the center. Oh, you're breathing. Exhale as you twist and lean back. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, rotate and reach through. Inhale to center, and exhale to twist. And center. One more to each side. Rotate, and return to the middle. And twist, and back to the middle. All right, from here, while we're kind of up and on the move, let's have a seat. Okay. We are going to work with your knees bent, space between your legs again. You can sit with your feet flat like that. Sometimes that's uncomfortable, so you could go out a little farther and take your toes off the mat. Body scan again. I want to recreate the posturing you used laying on your back, but we can't feel it anymore. So your reference point is going to be your sit bones at the base of your pelvis. And I want you to just lean forward and back a little bit so you can kind of feel where they are and that they're kind of rounded. So to get on them, you're going to push a little bit more towards the front side of the bone. That creates a vertical pelvis. And then, even if you have to touch yourself like I'm doing, just sense where your rib cage is. Try to line it up over the bowl of your pelvis. And then gaze forward at the wall to know that your head is lifted up over your rib cage. This is your vertical neutral spine. You might feel a little effort in lifting up from there, ab support, and then a little upper back work to lift your chest. Let's add your arms reaching forward at chest height. This exercise is called the half rollback. When you exhale, you're going to round your upper body, curling it up and over your legs. Now, before we keep going, I made you sit up tall, then I made you flop forward. I want you this to be energetic, that the arms are actively reaching towards the wall in front of you, as is the crown of your head. So it's not collapsed at all. We're aiming that energy forward. When you exhale, start to roll your pelvis back. And as you curl your pelvis away from your thighs, we're going to round the lower spine down towards the mat. Then as you inhale, you're going to curl up and over your legs. Exhale, roll back, slide down your shoulders as you curl down towards the mat. And then inhale, dive forward towards your legs. Exhale, roll back. You're going to feel the abs compressing and then the pubic bone tucking up, just as that reference point again. Dive forward. When I try to tuck up the pubic bone, that encourages my glutes to squeeze more. They're one of the big players in this exercise. Exhale, roll back. All right, so if you're following along with me, but you don't really feel all the same stuff, let's add a little endurance work so we have more time to sense. Exhale, roll back, and just go into the pose. Okay, so if we hang out here, please keep breathing. Do the pubic bone thing now. Tuck it up just a little more. And to do that, you're going to feel tucking under of your muscles. Now, if you want to feel your abs more, we could play a little game. Slowly lift your arms up, and the weight of your arms becomes part of the load your abs are holding. So hopefully you feel them now, and then lower your arms back down. Just try that one more time. Lift them up, keep that tuck, keep lifting the pubic bone, sense your abs, lower back down, and now curl forward. All right, we're going to do a few more rocks. I'm only going to do one arm lift, but let's keep adding that in. So you're going to exhale, roll back, set it, tuck up the pubic bone right away. Now inhale, lift the arms to increase the load. Exhale, lower them down, and then dive forward for a reset. Okay, that'll be the pattern. Let's keep going. Roll back on your exhale breath. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, dive over your legs. And exhale, roll it back. Inhale, we lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, dive forward. One more time, roll it back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. And then dive forward. Okay, sit up tall. Now, just in general in your workout, that's going to have an application to doing a full sit-up up and down. Okay, this is what the mobility we want in the lower half of the spine. Let's work on a crunch now and just deal with the mobility of the upper spine. So we're going back down onto your back. And again, you're going to lay with your knees bent, your feet flat like we've been working. All right, so I say crunch. I know you've done some kind of crunch sometime in your life. What I'd like to focus on today is how the breath supports the movement and how what we do with our arms can really change the experience of the exercise. So for right now, let's leave your arms by your sides. And I'll take you through a couple reps just to get the basics and the breathing pattern. When you breathe in, you're going to tip your chin down slightly, like you were nodding to say yes. Then when you exhale, curl your head and shoulders off the mat and lift the arms a little bit so they're hovering and staying in line with your shoulder blades. Now stay for a breath in, and ideally you're stopped at the bottom tip of your shoulder blades there. When you exhale, you're going to lower back down. All right, let's keep working on that move. Inhale, tip your chin down just a little bit, and then as you exhale, curl your head and shoulders off the mat, looking at your thighs. As you hold here, feel your rib cage expanding when you breathe in, and then exhale as you lower back down. On the inhale, as you tip your chin down, observe how the back of the neck gets longer. Then when you exhale, as you curl your head and shoulders up, you want to get your head over your ribs so you have more support. Hold here, breathe in, and exhale to lower. Just one more time. Inhale, tip your chin down slightly. Exhale, curl up. So whenever we move the head and neck, I want it to follow the line of the rest of my spine. Hold here, breathe in, and then exhale as you return. All right, so if your only reference point of crunches was hands behind the head, it might have been weird to do a crunch without holding your head. But with your arms by your side, the arms actually help you lift because they're moving in the direction you're going. When we take your hands behind your head again, now, if you have not done a Pilates crunch before, instead of lacing your hands so it's like a hammock, I want you to grab a little bit wider, but we'll still angle the elbows forward for the hammock effect. Okay, now the weight of the arms becomes part of the load that we're lifting. So this provides support for your neck, but more challenge for your abs now. As you inhale, tip your chin down slightly. When you exhale, curl your head and shoulders off the mat and look towards your thighs. Stay here, take a breath in and feel those ribs expanding. As you exhale, compress your abs, lower back down. Inhale, tip the chin down slightly. Exhale, curl forward. Stay here, take your breath in, and then exhale, compress the abs, look at the thighs as long as you can. Inhale, nod your chin. Exhale, flex up. Gently slide your shoulder blades down away from your ears. Hold here, take your inhale to stay, and then exhale as you return. Inhale, nodding. Exhale, flex forward. Try to use your breath to slide the ribs down. Inhale to stay, and exhale to lower down. Just one more time. Inhale, just tip the chin. Take that right into curling up on the exhale. Try to maintain your lift. Inhale into the sides and the backs of the ribs, and then exhale as you come back down. On your last rep, let's see if we can hold it a little bit longer for more endurance. Inhale, tip the chin down. Exhale, curl up and look towards your legs. Hold here, take a breath in. Stay for another exhale, try to flex up just a little bit more. And again, big breath in. And stay for another exhale. Let your head relax back into your hands. Take one more breath in to stay. And then exhale, lower all the way back down. Okay. All right, a different type of ab exercise now. We're going to let your neck have a break and leave your head down. This next exercise is called toe taps. So now we're going to work on the abdominals, stabilizing the pelvis against your legs moving in the air. We're going to do a slight pelvic tilt into an imprinted position. So you're neutral. We had a little curve under your low back. When you exhale, you're going to rock your pelvis in the direction that made your low back a little flatter. When we do that, your oblique abdominal muscles get shorter. We're going to keep them short, and they're going to be your primary stabilizer right now. Then I want you to inhale, lift one leg into the air into tabletop. When you exhale, draw your abs in just a little deeper and bring your second leg up as well. Stay here for a breath in. On the next exhale, you're going to lower one leg and just tap your toes on the mat. Inhale, lift your leg back up to the ceiling. Exhale, tap your opposite foot down, and inhale to lift back up. Every breath, you're going to draw the abs in deeper as the weight of the leg gets heavier. Inhale as you lift, and exhale, lower down. Okay, we're going to keep going, but if that's challenging you enough, just keep doing that. If you need it to be a touch harder, I'm going to wait till we get through the next rep so it's not an even number. You could take your arms off the mat so we lose them as a stabilizing tool. And now you have to focus even more on your breath and the compression of your abdominal wall to help you keep your position. Let's do that 4 more times. Exhale, tap down, and inhale, lift. Exhale as you lower. Notice how as you get further into the exhale, the abs actually feel much stronger. And that works great because the leg feels heavier. Inhale up. One more time. Exhale, tap down, and inhale to lift. Let's let your first leg down for good, then your second leg. All right, I'm going to have you turn over onto your stomach. And we're going to explore bending in the opposite direction, some exercises that help your upper back to have better so you have better posture when you're standing. All right, we're going to go with bent elbows. And I want you to set your arms so your elbows are in just a little closer than your hands. That kind of looks like a W. Position your legs so they're parallel, either together or slightly separated. And I want you to sense now the front of your body having contact with the mat. If we go down to the pelvis, all right, so because our thighs, let me go down to the thighs actually, the muscles are thick in the front of our thighs, you might feel like you're a little bit propped off the mat. And you might have to use your imagination if you can't really sense the pelvic bones themselves. But your pubic bone and the hip bones are still the 2 reference points. So like you can rock a little side to side to feel that. I want you to try to tilt your pelvis. You're gently pushing your pubic bone into the mat. That might make you sense your glutes. That gentle way you just contracted them, we're going to need that in the exercise. Now your ribs, just notice where your bottom couple ribs are touching the mat. We're going to use that as a reference point to limit the exercise. Take a breath in and visualize yourself getting taller, like your head is reaching away from your toes. When you exhale, start to lift your head and chest away from the mat until those bottom 2 ribs are the only ones left touching. And I am using my forearms a little bit to push up. Stay here and take a breath in. When you exhale, draw your ribs together and let them sink back down 1 rib at a time, then your neck and head. Okay, again, inhale, feel yourself get longer. So you make a traction first. Now when you exhale, begin lifting with your gaze changing. I want you to look up towards the end of your mat. Now push away with your forearms and pull your shoulder blades back and down like they're drawing a V into your mid-back. Stay here for an inhale. Allow your breath to expand your chest even wider. And then exhale, compress your abs, sink back down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, draw your abs in, lift your heart up, pull your shoulder blades back. Stay here for a breath in, and then lower back down on your exhale breath. Okay, so we've extended your upper back there. I want you to bring your arms down by your sides. Now I want you to imagine something a little more fun, like a person in the circus getting shot out of a cannon flying through the air, something silly like that. That's the only silly thing I could come up with. So I definitely said that like there were 3 ideas. No. Okay. I want you to take an inhale. Roll your shoulders back. Turn your palms in so they're facing your hips. When you exhale, use that same elongated feeling to lift up just an inch or 2 higher than where you started. All right, so now you're flying through the air. What would that feel like? Your fingertips would be reaching towards your feet. The top of your head would be reaching away from your toes. Winds rushing by you. And then soften that all up and just flop back down. Okay, that's what we're doing. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, elongate to get that slight lift. So again, I'm using my upper back muscles to come out of a flexion. Stay here and take a breath in, and then exhale. And we just collapse with control. Let your shoulders round forward and just get floppy again. Inhale, roll the shoulders back to open your chest, and then exhale as you lift from the upper back. Stay there for one more breath in, and then exhale as you lower. Okay, so changing the position of the arms, again, changes the challenge within the exercise. So this time, I'm going to have you go up to the hover, and we're just going to move the arms to different positions. Roll the shoulders back. When you exhale, pull the abs away from the mat, and then come up into that hover. All right, now as you inhale, I want you to take both arms out to the side, so that adds a little more load. Then exhale, bring your arms overhead, and whoa, that gets way heavier on the upper back. Inhale, arms back out to the sides. Exhale, back down to your hips, and soften back down. Can we just do it that way one more time? Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, roll the shoulders back, open the chest, lift into that low hover. Your gaze is still down at the floor. Inhale, the arms reach out wide so your body looks like a T. Now exhale, compress your abs while you're taking your arms overhead. Be ready for that extra weight. Inhale, arms back out by your sides. Exhale, get your hands to your hips, lower back down. Okay, go back to the W arms. Last version, we're going to transfer from the higher lift to the hover and use that arm overhead thing. This time, push yourself up on an inhale breath. We're going to lift the head and chest, press into the forearms, slide the shoulder blades back and down. When you exhale, tighten your abs, drop as low as the hover while you reach your arms overhead. Then when you inhale, bend your elbows and push yourself up with your forearms. Exhale, dive into that low hover, pulling your abs in and reaching your arms overhead. And inhale as you lift back up. Exhale, knit the ribs together, float down to that lower position, and inhale back up, see off the edge of the mat. One more time, exhale, draw the abs in, dive yourself down, and inhale as you lift back up. All right, take an exhale, release all the way down. I want you to sit back onto your heels, go into the shell stretch, rounding your spine forward. All right, stay here, take a nice big breath into the back and the sides of your ribs. Hold your pose for an exhale, pulling the abs in just a little bit deeper. Take one more breath in to stay at the bottom, and then roll up on your exhale. All right, we're going to do one more exercise. We're going to go into a side bend. For this exercise, you're going to sit with both of your legs off to the side, and they're going to be stacked up on top of each other with your knees bent. You want to line up your supporting arm so that your hand's about even with your knees. And again, because we're bearing weight into your wrist, spreading out your fingertips will help you distribute the load across the whole palm, the whole hand, because I meant the fingers too. Okay, I want you to take your other arm out to the side with your palm up. And your first motion actually starts with this arm and the shoulder. You're going to push away from the floor and shift the weight of your upper body towards your legs. So just play with that, reaching and sinking. Okay. And then we're going to add a hip lift to come into a side bend. As you exhale, push away from the floor, lift your hips up, and we're going to make a rainbow shape with the top side of your body. As you inhale, we're going to gently lay that hip back down to the mat. Try to get upright with your torso. And again, lead with the pressure into the hands. Shift the weight over towards the legs. Drop the head down. Inhale as you lower. I want you to keep feeling this relationship. If I want to get pressure out of the shoulder, out of the wrist, I got to push my body weight away from it. My legs are much stronger to handle the load of the torso. Inhale back down. 2 more times. Exhale, shift the ribs over, lift the hips, push that top side of the ribs up, and inhale back down. 1 more time. Exhale up and over into that side bend, and inhale as you land. Swing your legs over to the other side. Okay, so I got the fingertips spread wide, other arms out to the side. And just like before, just do a couple of those like shifty wiggles. Because I can't promise our 2 arms or shoulders ever feel the same. Okay, so you had to sense that. All right, let's take it into the full move. On your exhale, Push that shoulder down, shift your ribs over, lift your hips, draw your side bend. Inhale as you lower back down with control. And again, exhale, glide the weight over, squeeze the glutes a little as you lift your hips, and inhale as you return. Exhale to draw that big rainbow shape, and inhale back down. See if you can sense your inner thighs squeezing together, and inhale as you return. One more. Exhale up and over, and inhale as you lower back down. All right, you are done for today. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to have you again next week. All right, take care.